Hi everyone, Amy here, and today I'm going to make a simple Mother's Day card using pattern paper scraps. So let's jump right in. I recently received an order from Simon Says Stamps, and I got this circle of leaves die cut, and I'm so excited to jump right in and play with it. I have an A2 size card base of 110-pound cardstock. That's Neenah Classic Crest. I have my beloved Paper Rose stitched rectangle dies and some cream or off-white cardstock. Now this is a panel that I made in a previous video and it didn't make the cut. I wasn't a huge fan of how it turned out. I had run pattern paper through in various different embossing folders, and this wasn't my favorite to make a card that go around, but it's going to work great for today's card. So basically, here's a photo of the card that I'm going to make for you today. I was able to use that textured pattern paper background in this layout. Now I'm going to run this cream-ish, beige-ish, whatever you want to call it, lightweight cardstock through my die cutting machine off screen with a smaller one of these stitched rectangle dies. And you can see it's smaller in size than this pattern paper, and I did that deliberately because I wanted not only the portion that's going to be cut out with the circle die, but I wanted a nice edge around the outside of the card as well, just to kind of show more of that pretty design of the pattern paper. So I just attach that die down and run it again off screen through my Platinum 6, and I'm going to carefully remove this die cut from the cardstock and pop out these pieces. Now take your time with this, guys. It cut out fine, but it is very delicate with these little leaf stems and little bits, so be sure to take your time pulling these out so you don't destroy your little image here. But eventually I'll get through popping out all these little pieces, and then I'm just going to figure out the rest of the card and how I'm going to lay it out. I basically just need to attach these pieces, and I don't want to use too much dimension just because it is already layered and there is some dimension from embossing that pattern paper piece. So I have this stamp and die set from Hero Arts that I'm going to use. It has the happy stamp as well as Mother's Day. I realized upon making this that I don't have very many stamps that say Happy Mother's Day. So I'm going to have to look into that and invest in some more for my crafty stash. But I'm just playing with where I want to put this happy stamp down on this little open space on the composition. And I do have some Distress Oxide. This is in the color Picked Raspberry. And then I also have my VersaFine Clair Nocturne black pigment ink, which I'm going to use to stamp the little sub-sentiment here. So just have this loaded up in my MISTI and held down with magnet. I'm going to stamp this a couple times to get nice even stamping here with this beautiful pink color. I felt it really matched the pattern paper well on the card design. So I'm just going to stamp this a couple times. It was a little spotty the first go around. So a couple or few times we'll do it, get it nice and rich in color here. And that's the beauty of the MISTI. It'll keep it in the same spot with that magnet so it doesn't shift on you, and you can stamp it as many times as you need to get it to look the way that you want. So here I'm just lining up the little stamp that says Mother's Day, and this is what I'm going to stamp with the black. Now this pigment ink is very good for word stamps or anything with fine details. The VersaFine Clair Nocturne does a fantastic job, but it does take a minute to dry, so make sure you don't stick your finger in it and smudge it all up. But I just have some tape runner here, and I'm going to attach that textured pattern paper panel, it's a lot of P's, down to my card base. And then ultimately I end up using some liquid glue on this because I didn't want to try and use that tape runner on those delicate little bits with the leaves. I know I would have torn them right off. So just using some liquid glue behind all these little leaves and around the outside edges of this panel here. And then I do end up using my finger to smooth it down just because it isn't the thickest cardstock, and I didn't want those little glue lines to kind of show through once it dried up. So I'm just going to wipe off my finger and attach this to the card panel here and make sure it's stuck down really well. I do end up putting some acrylic blocks on it just to make sure it really holds it down, just because there is some texture from that on that pattern paper panel. And here I have a little sequin mix. I believe I got this in a prior order from the Rabbit Hole Designs, oftentimes they give you fun little extra sequin goodie bits when you order from them, so an extra little bonus there. But I'm just pulling out a smattering of kind of clear iridescent and then a couple of the pink colors, and I like to do odd numbers, so I have 3 on the top and 2 on the bottom just to kind of complete this design. And again, I'm going to come in with the liquid glue and just attach those down. So this is yet another fun way to use up some pattern paper scraps or even pattern paper pieces if you hoard it in your stash. I know I have a ton, and I've been on a mission to try and use up as much of it as possible. And here I have a Wink of Stella pen. This is just a clear glitter pen, and I'm just kind of going over the leaves just to give it a little something extra. And it's hard to see it on the screen here, but I do think it adds a little something unexpected. When it hits the light, it'll have just a little bit of extra shimmer and prettiness. So here's the finished card. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. And I appreciate you so much for watching. I love your comments, so let me know what you think, and let me know what your ideas are for Mother's Day cards this year. So have a great day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.